Son's wife called with the terrible news.
She was saying that he wasn't with us anymore.
At first, she struggled to process that her son was gone.
He's got to be alive. He's probably maybe, hurt.
Atkinson Burnett is a nurse practitioner who used to work at Emory Hospital, where her son was rushed for treatment. So she called a friend who is still there.
He says, "You need to be here." And the police come in. I said, "My son is dead." I knew then. I said, "I knew my son is dead."
Officer Rose was 33, married, with 2 children and another on the way. He was a Marine who served in Afghanistan and graduated at the top of his class from the DeKalb County Police Academy.
Fearless, strong, go-getter, and always there for someone in need.
And because of that, she's confident that Officer Rose, even if he knew he was going to die in that shooting, still would have responded because he knew the public needed to be protected. Funeral arrangements have yet to be announced. When they are, Fox 5 will let you know. Reporting from DeKalb County Police Headquarters, I'm Mark Teichner, Fox 5 News.
Mark, thank you so much for that update. Well, you guys, Gwinnett County Police say that a rapper's shooting death may have been in self-defense. Friday night, police found Tevin Hood shot at a home on Lee Road near Snellville. Hood was an Atlanta rapper, better known as T. Hood. Officers say the man who shot him stayed on the scene. Now, they say the shooting stems from some sort of domestic disturbance that left a woman injured. Police say that the gunman arrived at the home and appears to have shot Hood in the driveway. In other entertainment news, Atlanta producer Metro Boomin will face trial next month for a rape accusation. Metro, whose real name is Leland Wayne, reportedly tried to mediate the case with plaintiff Vanessa Lemastre, but the two sides couldn't come up with an agreement. Now, according to published reports, the woman filed a lawsuit accusing Wayne of 2016 sexual battery in Los Angeles and then making a song about it. Metro Boomin denies the allegations. We have new information in the shooting of 5 Fort.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much once again for streaming with us here in the 3 p.m. hour on Fox Local, on our YouTube channel, and for our radio listeners on 107.9 HD2. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 newsroom on what is a busy Wednesday afternoon of news. Want to get you right to live pictures from Sky Fox 5 that are just coming in from the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station, where we're hearing reports of a shooting there. We understand that one person has been shot in the stomach. The shooter apparently still on the run. This was after a fight, according to authorities, in the bus loop in that area. Again, this happening at the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station. With live pictures here from Sky Fox 5. Our helicopter just arrived there on the scene just a couple of moments ago. That victim, we understand, don't know his or her condition, but we do know that they've been transported to the hospital and the search for the shooter is on. This all comes as our Eric Perry is traveling to that scene right now. Eric joining us in the 3 p.m. hour anyway to talk about MARTA violence. Whether you feel safe riding MARTA trains. Well, one Atlanta City councilman apparently doesn't. Eric spoke to that councilman. He's going to be joining us live from the scene here, this shooting today, to bring us the very latest and to bring us the complaint of the Atlanta City Council member who says that he wants answers about what's being done to increase safety on MARTA trains. This especially after a shooting that left 2 MARTA officers injured. So we got a lot going on as it pertains to MARTA. We'll continue to stay on top of this situation again. Hamilton E. Holmes, where one person has been shot and transported to the hospital. We'll talk to Fox 5's Eric Perry in just a couple of minutes. Well, also in the news today, there has been a big arrest in Fulton County. It's a cold case that dates all the way back to 2007 that was truly gruesome. We're talking about a woman whose body was discovered in a burning bag on the side of a Troup County road. Now, Fox 5's Deidre Dukes, she is on top of this story in Palmetto. Deidre, where authorities updated you on the status of this investigation and the big arrest that has been made.
That's right. Police confirming with the prosecutors, the Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis, of an arrest in this cold case after 15 years of searching for a suspect. We're joining live in Palmetto because this is where investigators determined that the actual crime scene where the woman was murdered, 24-year-old Nicole Alston. Now, prosecutors say the victim and the suspect were living together in an apartment complex here. Now, at that time, back in 2007, the name of the apartment complex was Genesis Gardens Apartments, and the apartment was located on the 9100 block of Cascade Palmetto Highway. The name of the complex has since changed, but police have determined, along with investigators with the Fulton County DA's office, that that is in fact where the crime occurred, or where Miss Alston was killed back in December of 2000. Now, Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis, the victim's family, and investigators with multiple law enforcement agencies gathered together for that news conference today. We do have a photo of the murder victim, again, 24-year-old Nicole Alston. Her body was discovered in a burning bag on the side of the road in Troup County back in December of 2007. Her head, hands, and feet were missing. So at that time, it would be several years before she was identified. Alston's then girlfriend, Angel Thompson, now charged with malice murder in the case. Alston moved to Atlanta from New York to live with Thompson shortly before her death, and prosecutors say Thompson killed Alston, took steps to conceal her death, and assumed the dead woman's identity. Now, the case went cold for 15 years, but investigators got a break in 2023 when Alston was identified through DNA testing. They would go on to spend the next couple of years following up on leads, reviewing evidence, once again finding and locating the apartment complex where the couple lived and determining that that in fact was the crime scene where Miss Alston was murdered. On Monday, Thompson was booked into the Fulton County Jail, and Alston's mother was on hand for today's news conference. She said she never stopped looking for her daughter.
I never stopped looking for her. Not receiving a call at Christmas or New Year's or birthday, it resonates because that wasn't Nicole. But she was grown, and you don't always need your witching mama. So I didn't think of it much, but she didn't deserve this. And I wish I never let her come to Georgia.
Now, Alston's mother did say during the news conference, Tom, that she had learning disabilities. Alston did, where she relied heavily on people for more help from others. So believes that that would have made her more vulnerable towards Thompson. So just learning a lot more about the details surrounding this very sad case.
Just goes out to the mother, for the mother, Deidre, of Nicole Alston. She sounded so upset and so sad on the one hand. On the other hand, they've been waiting for answers since 2007. So in a way, this must come as a great relief to them.
Yeah, great relief to the family. And we also are learning more, Tom, about possible motive. Now, detectives do say that the suspect, Thompson, did take on Alston's identity after they say she killed her, and that she collected for about 8 years, they said, Social Security checks that Alston would have been receiving had she lived. For 8 years, they say the total that Thompson received while she impersonated the deceased woman was in the total of $121,000 between 2007 and 2015. And they also say that she also was renting apartments and purchasing vehicles in Alston's name. Now, prosecutors do believe that money was the possible motive for the murder. They also say that they do suspect that Alston was being trafficked by Thompson. And we're told by DA Fonnie Willis that she does believe there are other victims out there who may have been preyed on by Thompson. And so she also today urged the public to come forward with any information they might have on Thompson. Here's what she had to say.
To people to go back to this time period in 2007. This is a picture of the defendant. We know that right prior to their death that they were living at 9100 Cascade Palmetto Highway. That property during that time period would have been called Genesis Gardens. It's known today as Palmetto Reserve, but back in 2007, it would have been known as Genesis Gardens. If there is anyone that is familiar with this couple at that home and can bring forth information, we would like you to contact the district attorney's office and the lead attorney, Will Wooten. If there is any information regarding other women being victimized and trafficked, we would like you to call the district attorney's office. The nature of this case is gruesome. What happened to this young lady prior to her being killed is horrible, but trafficking didn't just start in 2023. We know that it has been going on a long time, and it is very important to us that when we bring forth this indictment, we include all of the victims in this case so that we can get justice for them.
And right now, the Fulton DA says that she does believe, Tom, that Thompson acted alone. Once again, Thompson now behind bars in the Fulton County Jail charged with malice murder.
Yeah, and preparing to talk to you about this story today, Deidre, I learned, boy, this Miss Thompson, definitely no model citizen. I mean, she moved here from New York in '07, was already wanted there for theft and identity fraud. So she had a lot of problems once she got here. And then, of course, after this arrest, she's now suspected in this grisly murder.
Yes.
All right. Fox 5 Deidre Dukes there in a rainy Palmetto. Deidre, we'll let you continue to gather information there. We'll see you tonight on Fox 5 News at 4, 5, and 6. Deidre, thanks. We want to bring you up to date on the horrible shooting that took place right outside the CDC at the CVS drugstore back on Friday. One we covered live and resulted in the death of a DeKalb County police officer. We're getting some new information right now. We are still awaiting funeral arrangements for DeKalb County police officer David Rose. And as DeKalb mourns, flags at the county facilities are going to be lowered to half staff to honor the officer for his service and his sacrifice. This is the GBI says that they're giving us a little bit more information about what happened with Patrick Joseph White, the shooter, who died after a self-inflicted gunshot wound there on the scene. Apparently, he fired more than 500 shots at the CDC, hitting 6 of those buildings, a total of 200 times. Nobody inside the CDC or that nearby daycare were injured. We do know that a couple of GoFundMe accounts have been set up for the family of Officer David Rose, who is a husband, the father of 2 kids with another one on the way. His mom is dealing with a very painful reality that she'll never see her son again. Devonne Atkinson Burnett spoke to us, and she says she still can't believe that this happened.
You need to be here. And the police come in. I said, my son is dead. I knew then. I said, I knew my son is dead.
So a very upset and grieving mother there. Understandably, she's taken it day by day. She says her daughter-in-law at the time of the shooting called her about her son. She said she was just out walking with a friend when she got that phone call. She was about to stop for lunch when that call came in. Actually, Rose's mother worked at Emory University, which is just down the street. And she said that at the time of the shooting, she called a friend that worked at Emory to find out what the heck was going on. And this friend told the mother of Officer David Rose to get there right away. David Rose, just 33 years old at the time of the fatal shooting there at the CDC. On to another shooting that happened at the U.S. Army base not too long before, just a couple of days before, and the accused shooter, accused of shooting 5 of his fellow officers at Fort Stewart. Yesterday, Sergeant Cornelius Radford made his first appearance in a military courtroom. He faces attempted murder charges, aggravated assault, and domestic violence charges. Army officials say that one of the victims was Radford's romantic partner, so this might have been a domestic situation. And under military law, attempted murder carries a potential penalty of life in prison. You'll remember the shooting caused the Army post near Savannah and multiple school systems to go into lockdown for hours that day. Officials say that Radford was stopped when soldiers in the area tackled him and wrestled his gun away, restraining him until military officials arrived. All 5 of the wounded soldiers survived that attack. So a couple of big stories that we'll continue to update you on as we get new information. Let's talk about our weather. Take you up to Cobb County and Truist Park, where you can see the clouds on the horizon there. I don't know if you noticed in Deidre Duke's live shot, you saw the rain falling in Palmetto. It's fallen in many parts of the state this afternoon as the heat and the humidity continue. Here with meteorologist Alex Forbes to talk about the weather. Alex, we've just kind of been stuck in this rainy, humid pattern.
Yeah, and we're going to revert kind of back to that normal August regularly scheduled programming here today and in the days to come. So in that Truist camera, you saw some rain there off in the distance. That's causing some rain, cool air in a number of spots. Let me show you what's going on right now in terms of the temperatures here across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. We're in the 80s still here in the city, 87. But look at that, some rain, cool air there in Carrollton, 82 over in Blairsville, 86 in Gainesville, a pair of 8s there in Athens, 91, the only 90 we have on the board right now in Eatonton. You factor in that humidity though. Woo, 102 in Eatonton is what it feels like. 93 here in Atlanta, 91 in Canton. There's Fox 5 Live Viper. So we've got a number of showers and storms out there. First, let me show you what's going on here in the metro. We saw a heavy shower roll over us here at Fox 5 in the last 20, 30 minutes. And there's some more sporadic, heavier showers across the area. I do have the lightning turned on, and we're seeing some strikes in just a handful of spots. But down to the south and to the west, that's where we have some storms right now. Those are pushing up into the metro, and unfortunately, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the timing, and I'm going, uh-oh. The commute home is going to be wet for a lot of people. Up in northwest Georgia, we're also looking at some showers right now. This is just south of Chattanooga. This is one of the spots that saw a lot of flooding yesterday. And because that ground is so saturated up there in northern Georgia, we've got this flood watch that's going to be in effect through the overnight hours for basically north of Interstate 20 that goes from Polk County over to Hall County and then points northward. So we're watching the chance of storms here across the area. This is what the hour by hour has. Yeah, that's a mess for a commute.
Wow.
Later on this evening.
Just covered with rain.
Yeah.
How long until we get out of this pattern where it's just humid, rain, seems to be happening every single day now?
So I think the bigger change is going to be getting rid of a lot of this rainfall by the time we get to the weekend. Now, watch this. Tomorrow, we're not going to see a whole lot in terms of scattered showers. There will be some out there, but more people will stay dry than get wet. In fact, our rain chance for tomorrow is only at 30%. But then we get it back to a 60% chance of rain on Friday, and that's it for the next 7 days, being that high, where it's only a 20 to 30% chance of rain beyond that through the weekend. And the temperatures, they will be coming up as well. Take a look at this, getting into the low 90s. Our average high, you know, is beginning to fall. So now this is going to technically be above average here through the middle part of August.
Yeah, because we were talking yesterday. You were out, where were you, in Marietta?
I was in Milton.
Milton, sorry, about how August got off to such a cool start. But looks like we're right back to the 90s.
Back to regularly scheduled programming. And the same goes for hurricane season as well. We're getting back into that routine, the mid-August routine of watching the main development region. We've got Tropical Storm Erin out there, winds of 45 miles an hour. So it's still not too strong, right? It's been a storm now for 2 or 3 days, and it's stayed at relatively the same strength. It's fighting off some dry air and wind shear right now, but the expectation is here in the days to come that it will not have that dry air and wind shear to fight off, becoming a major hurricane north of Puerto Rico and making that turn. Now, I can tell you, you look at this and you look at the cone and where the turn is happening, I am not expecting any U.S. impacts besides some high surf up and down the East Coast.
Yeah, it looks like it's headed up toward Bermuda. I mean, you never know with these 7-day projections, but thank goodness, it's, for now at least, not affecting us.
Well, and it's worth noting as well, you know, the National Hurricane Center does a great job with the cones and where they end up and where the storm ends up going. In fact, the forecast error last year was like the best it's ever been. And it's worth noting that the models are in really good agreement on this storm. It's not like we've got one model trying to yank it over to the U.S. and another model trying to yank it on the other side of Bermuda. They are all straight down the middle of that cone.
It's interesting. Sometimes we talk about storms that develop down in the Gulf. Looks like we're talking about storms that are developing out in the Atlantic this time.
And that's to be expected this time of year. This is the main development region is what we call it, and that's living up to its name.
Okay, real quick before you go, it's hump day and people are focused on the weekend. Looks pretty nice, just hot and humid
Exactly.
outside.
The past several weekends have not been summery weekends, but this one is going to be one. So I said it earlier, if the kids are running off the bus Friday afternoon, I think maybe I'm pushing off the pool then to the Saturday, because that's going to be your lower rain chance with temperatures getting back into the 90s. It is going to feel hot out there. Another mid-August weekend that's actually going to be normal, unlike the last couple ones.
Looks like kind of the same as we begin the work week next week.
Yep.
All right, Alex, thanks so much. We'll see you today at 4.
Yep.
When we come back, we're going to take you to downtown. You've been on the streetcar in downtown?
I have not. I've seen it come by.
Yeah.
But I've never actually ridden it.
All right, there's a situation where it's going to close for a while. Our Chris Rosenthal is down there. We're going to talk to him live coming up. Five. Good afternoon. Thanks so much again for streaming with us here in the 3 p.m. hour of Fox Local. I'm Tom Haines. If you're joining us on YouTube, welcome. Post your comments. I'm always reading them as the news happens here. And for our radio listeners on 107.9 HD2, we thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. We want to get you back now to breaking news that we talked about right off the top of the program. Happened only minutes before we came on with you here at 3 p.m. That is a shooting at the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station that's left at least one person injured, shot in the stomach, we understand, according to authorities, and transported to the hospital with injuries. We don't know the condition of that suspect, but we do know that a gunman is on the run at this hour. These are live pictures from our ground crew there. Fox 5's Eric Perry is headed to the scene right now. Eric was actually on MARTA violence for us coming up later in the 3 p.m. hour anyway. He talked to an Atlanta City Council member who says that enough is enough. A lot of people, if you talk to them, say, I'd love to take MARTA, but I just don't feel safe. And this is example number one of what can happen there. This Atlanta City Councilman says it's getting out of control. And we got a couple of high-profile events coming to our city. And with concerts down at the Benz all the time, people want to feel safe on our Metro Atlanta Transit Authority system there. So again, on top of the shooting there, we'll continue to follow it. We'll check in with Eric, who's headed to that scene right now in just a couple of minutes. Speaking of MARTA, we got the streetcar running through downtown that connects a lot of people to different places in the downtown area. It's going to shut down for a little while because of some infrastructure improvements. Namely, power improvements. Our Chris Rosenthal down there next to some MARTA tracks in downtown for us. Chris, exactly what's happening here and how long is the streetcar going to be shut down?
Yeah, hey Tom. So I'm on Auburn Avenue here, and yeah, you can see the tracks for the streetcar. This is near Cortland Avenue. And what they're going to do, they're going to take this stretch of road, and they're going to do some maintenance here for Georgia Power for some utility lines down there. So they're going to have to shut down the streetcar for a few months. They say this will start on September 8th. Now, you know, there is a good number of people that take that do use a streetcar. MARTA gave me some numbers. In June, averages about 1,000 people a day use it. They won't be completely out of luck because there will be some shuttles that they will provide that are going to have sort of the familiar streetcar logo design on them, but. There are a lot of people that do use it. There's Wheat Street Towers up here, residential area, and a lot of folks that live there do use a streetcar. I spoke with one gentleman earlier, a gentleman who's who uses a motorized wheelchair, and he does use this use the streetcar. And here's what he had to say.
Just to go grocery shopping, or I use it to go to Grady, or I use it just to go anywhere in particular. Sometimes I go to Centennial Park. I go to Centennial. Yeah. You know, so it's convenient.
How often do you use it, you say?
I use it probably maybe about, I ride it for about a month every day, you know, yeah.
Now, they're gonna suspend it for a few months, starting in September, but to have these vans that you can take instead, you think that'll be okay for you?
Yeah, that'll be, I can get on the van with.
Yeah, so there will be a van they can use. Here's actually a streetcar coming now. Like you said, he goes sometimes to Centennial Olympic Park. If you haven't been on it, it goes, oh, here we go. Whoa! All right, so it goes, it goes all the way to Centennial Park and goes from there all the way down to Auburn Avenue and Edgewood and over by Martin Luther King Center. But this will start again on September 8th, and we'll go for 3 to 4 months, they say.
Chris, I haven't seen a ton of people. Every time I've seen the streetcar, I never see a ton of people on it. Is that your sense? I mean, is this sort of a robust method of transportation in the downtown area?
Yeah, you know, I mean, like I said, the number, you know, the average in June was about 1,000 people using it. I mean, there are some people here that do rely on it. People like Mr. Smith there that do rely on it. Just, you know, being down here today, you know, they have, if you haven't been here, they have sort of these stations. They almost look like bus stops. That's where you get on and off from. And you know, there'd be a few people here and there waiting, but it's not certainly not packed. You know, at least from my survey of my time here for a few hours today. So you know, and then you'd see a few people on the cars themselves.
Just reading some of your notes here. This is going to require a closure, right? A lane closure between Cortland Street and Peachtree Center Avenue. So heads up for that if you're somebody who uses the downtown area to go to work or school at Georgia State or whatever. All right, careful, Chris Rosenthal.
That's this road right here. So
okay, that thing was tearing through pretty quick. So be careful out there. Chris, thanks so much. Thank you for the information regarding the streetcar in downtown Atlanta. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, one person in the newsroom describes this next story as one of the most gruesome she's ever seen. It involves a dog attack that has left one woman in critical condition. Details coming up right after the break. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm Tom Haynes. Thanks so much for being with us here as we bring you the latest information here in the Fox 5 newsroom as it happens. We've been talking about that shooting at the MARTA station at Hamilton E. Holmes. We're on top of that story. Fox 5's Eric Perry is headed there right now, and he's going to link up with us in just a couple of minutes to give us the very latest. We talked about right before we went to break the fact that one person here in the newsroom who saw images of a dog attack victim called it some of the most gruesome that she has ever seen. We're talking about an attack that happened in Union City. The photos are so bad, we're obviously not going to share a lot of them with you, but the woman attacked is in critical condition, and she is recovering at Grady Memorial Hospital. Our Brittany Edney there on the story. Brittany, what a devastating story. You spoke to the victim's son, who must be absolutely heartbroken. What did he tell you?
He is going through so much right now, and kind of like what you said earlier, in my entire career, I've never seen a dog attack end so horribly for a victim. And kind of also, like you just kind of briefed on, the thing is we can't
Technical issue here, but we can hear you, and we're following along with you.
Okay. Oh, thanks, Tom. Yeah, you know, as we were just kind of going a little bit about Donna and her current state, her son says this actually all happened back on August 1st when she was walking home from the bank, and that's when 5 off-leash dogs, they did attack her on Lakeside Drive in Union City on, again, August 1st. She's been hospitalized ever since then, and her injuries so severe, again, they are too graphic to show. Her son Charles tells me that this has been a nightmare and that animal control has removed the 5 dogs from the owner's house. I want to show you this other video. It's something that another family member recorded of animal control taking one of the dogs away from the property where they are from. Charles says the animal should have never been off leash, and this attack is so horrible that the dog should be put down because he never wants anyone else to ever go through anything like him and his mother and all of her loved ones are going through right now. He says his mother has also battled a lot of infections, and today she'll likely have both her arms amputated. What are you guys feeling right now?
We're very angry, very heartbroken, very disappointed in Fulton County Animal Control about the situation. Apparently they've been out there numerous times and nothing about the situation has been done. We're actually here today to meet with the surgeons and the doctors to go over the recovery and everything that has to be done as, as our limbs being amputated, both of our arms today. We're just hoping that we make the right decisions. Of course, we want our mother to live, but we're just hoping we make the right decisions, and she lives, basically, is where we're at now. She has a really bad infection going on right now. So we're just basically praying that we make the right decisions and that she pulls through with us.
Now, we have reached out to Fulton County and we've requested any and all documents such as past visits from animal control to that address, any service calls, citations, also information regarding what has happened to the dogs, where they have been taken, and what future they may have. We, of course, are waiting to hear back from Fulton County, but we'll keep everyone updated as far as what we discover regarding the past experiences of those dogs who are tied to this just horrible attack, Tom.
Yeah, just breathtaking photos of the victim there at Grady Hospital, and just so heartbreaking to hear her son talk about that, because you are waiting for info on whether the neighbor has had run-ins before with their dogs. If so, that would be a real problem.
And, you know, we have heard from the son that he says that there is that history there. Of course, is something that we are fact checking. We have reached out to the county about. We want to make sure that the county has due diligence and time to respond about that. But kind of moving back again to Donna and her family and where they are today, Tom, you know, Charles tells me that they have this just heavy weight and responsibility of deciding what to do because she's been in care for so long. She's been dealing with all types of infections since August 1st. And today, starting at 1, actually, they were going to be meeting with a lot of the surgeons, trying to figure out her treatment plan, how to proceed with all of her care in the future. But one thing that they are really concerned about is, will she even be able to survive this extremely, you know, risky surgery of having both of her arms amputated while she's dealing with infections at the same time?
Gosh, just so devastating. And we understand that her injuries are so severe that she's in the Grady burn unit being treated.
Yeah, that's right. She's, you know, in the ICU right now. I don't know if you guys were able to see earlier, but we did share a photo with her from the hospital bed. But her family, since all this happened, they haven't been able to speak with her because those injuries were just that severe. She's been on a ventilator. She has been unconscious, and they've been having to make a lot of these tough medical calls on her behalf. And they said that that is one of the things that is hardest, both mentally and emotionally, weighing on their hearts, is being in control and just hoping that they are doing the right thing for her, that this is what she would want, because no one ever thinks that something like this, something this extreme, could happen to them, Tom.
Yeah, we'll, of course, pray for her recovery, and our heart goes out to her son. Brittany, keep us posted. Thanks so much live there at Grady Memorial Hospital. Brittany, thanks. Things are happening fast with this MARTA shooting. Right now, we're getting a news conference, and our Eric Perry is there on the scene. Let's listen to what authorities are telling us right now from the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station.
Our drone unit went up. We were not able to locate the suspect as of right now, but we're going to continue to search for him, and hopefully this afternoon, later on this afternoon, we'll be able to put a picture out on the suspect.
Walk us through. I was working on a story about just safety and incidents with MARTA. Talk where you guys are now and how you're working to keep riders safe.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've got 300 plus employees that work hard every day trying to keep the public safe, keep our riders safe, keep our community safe. And this is just another example of the gun violence that we see pretty regularly. As you've seen in the last couple of weeks, it's you know, it's almost every day in our communities. And we as a community have to really work hard to combat that. The police obviously have a vital role in that, but as a group, as partners in our neighborhoods, we need to make sure that we're participating in this effort. And today's another example of young people with guns and how they operate. Just yesterday, we arrested a 15-year-old with an assault rifle on one of our properties. So it's a daily fight that our officers take. And as you saw last week with 2 of our officers being shot, they don't take it lightly. 2 officers shot Thursday night, and look, they're out here today doing the same thing, fighting crime and trying to keep our community safe. So we just want to make sure the public knows that we're out here and that we're working hard every day to really keep them safe.
How are those 2 officers doing?
They're doing well. Good spirits, home resting. We expect full recoveries eventually. It's going to take a little while for one of the officers to get well, but he's in great spirits.
Overall, people watching, what do you want them to take away?
Guns. Guns are prevalent in our society and in our neighborhoods, too easily accessible to people that use them as a way of conflict resolution. And we've got to figure out a way as a community and as a nation to move people away from conflict resolution with handguns.
Perfect. Chief, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck, Alex.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
That's Fox 5's Eric Perry out at the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station,
Okay.
talking to officials about the shooting that happened just moments before we joined you here in the 3 p.m. streaming hour. Eric set to join us anyway to talk about 2 officers, MARTA police officers, who were shot not too long ago. I don't know if you heard it there, but Eric asked about their condition. Eric's going to be joining us here live coming up in just a few moments to talk about what happened at H.E. Holmes MARTA and to bring us up to date on the Atlanta City Council member he spoke to, who says that violence is just out of control on MARTA and that MARTA officials need to get a handle on things. So we'll bring you Eric in just a couple of minutes. Want to move you now to Troup County, where officials are investigating a shooting. They found a man unresponsive at his home with a head wound, then transported him to the hospital and discovered that he'd been shot. Our Fox 5's Doug Evans is live for us there now. He's been on top of this story. Doug, how is the victim doing at this hour, and what more do we know about this shooting?
Tom, we're told that he's still in the hospital there in Atlanta at Grady Memorial Hospital. We're told that he does have an injury to his head. He was shot in the head, unfortunately. And as you said, that was something they didn't discover until he'd gotten to the hospital. We've learned that it was concerned coworkers who found him on the floor of his home. His name is DeWindle White. He's 47 years old. This happened early Monday morning. I want to show you some video that I took this morning from the scene there. This happened in the Mountville area of Troup County, and it's very near the line with Coweta County. This is a very rural area. Deputies say this is a usually quiet corner of the county, but not Monday morning, not for DeWindle White. He'd been shot in the head. But deputies say, as you said, Tom, they didn't know that at first because the 911 call came in as somebody who had been injured in a fall. It's not until they got him to Grady and they did an x-ray that x-ray revealed that he had, in fact, been shot in the head. Here's what investigators are saying about the case today.
As a fall with injuries, this victim now did not show up for work. His employers got concerned and they took it upon themselves to go to the house to check on him. They said it was very uncommon for him not to be at work early or on time. And when they got there, they found him in the floor unresponsive and bleeding. And then they called 911, fire and EMS responded. They get there and just something didn't look right about the scene. It appeared a crime may have occurred. And so they call us and deputies respond. And while they're treating the individual and he gets to the hospital, it's determined that he has a gunshot wound to the head.
Can you say at all what it was about the scene that looked out of place?
It just appeared that he did not fall. It just plus they got there and a door was open, and so that was their first clue that maybe he left it open, maybe he didn't. When they got there and they found him unresponsive, they thought maybe somebody entered the home or left, didn't shut the door or something like that. So that was kind of their first clue that something was not normal at the house.
Yeah, being a very rural area, I would imagine typically that's got to be a pretty safe area too. So this is, would probably be out of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of our areas that we typically see a lot of crime or something like that. And so with him not showing up to work, not having like a medical history that they knew of, and the bleeding, and then when he got to the hospital, the medical exam, that's when they found that he did have a gunshot wound in the head.
And again, DeWindle White, 47 years old, from Troup County, is in critical condition at this hour at Grady Memorial Hospital, a shooting that happened last Monday. I don't know if you can tell, Tom, but I've had to take shelter in my car because it is pouring down rain right now in Troup County. It is just raining hard here, so staying safe and dry in the vehicle. I feel like I'm in the Fox 5 storm chaser or something.
Well, we know you double as a meteorologist, quite skillfully at that, I might add. So you're in the middle of the elements there in Troup County. And I liked your question because it's one that I had to the official there about, it's kind of bizarre that something like this would happen in that area.
Yeah, and I think that they're on top of it, Tom. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some breaking news at some point on this. They've been working it hard since Monday morning. They said in their initial press release, Tom, that they didn't believe that there was any danger to the community. That's a line that's kind of a tip-off in an investigation. When they feel that there's no danger to a community with a person that's shot, typically that leads one to believe that maybe he knew the shooter.
Yeah, it might have been a domestic type situation or a skirmish with a friend. Who knows? But we know you'll stay on top of the situation. Yeah, we just don't know. The investigation will reveal it. Doug, thanks. Looks like the rain behind you has kind of let up a little bit too.
A little bit.
Explains why you're in the car, which is, I guess, where I'd be if it were pouring cats and dogs out there down in Troup County. Doug Evans, thanks so much. When we come back, we're going to talk to you about an initiative on the part of our governor to tackle childhood cancer. It's a noble one. It happened at the state capitol today, and Eli Jordan, our photojournalist, was there, and he's going to bring us the details coming up right after the break. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have big news this afternoon as you rejoin us here on Fox Local for our live stream here in the Fox 5 newsroom in the battle against childhood cancer. The governor announcing today that September, coming up next month, will officially be Childhood Cancer Awareness Month here in our state of Georgia. There was a big ceremony today at the state capitol to make that announcement. Eli Jordan, our photojournalist, was there. Eli joins us now live. Eli, we have a huge hospital that deals exclusively with childhood cancer, CHOA. And so this is an amazing effort.
Of Atlanta, yes.
Yeah, by the governor and one that is so welcomed by so many.
Yeah, you know, Tom, any cancer diagnosis is tough enough, but, you know, the same kind of diagnosis for a child, it can be devastatingly unfair. And, you know, while a lot of states have cancer task force, many do not include pediatric cancers, but Georgia just became the 13th state to include pediatric cancer in their task force. And at today's proclamation, where Governor Kemp declared September to be Childhood Cancer Awareness, Georgia also introduced their pediatric cancer task force. And with a task force compiles of it's 8 people from across the state, made up of oncologists, nurses, childhood life specialists, and other advocates from across the state. And it helps them address, you know, quality of care, early detection, and survivorship needs. And I spoke to a Rally Foundation for Childhood Cancer CEO and founder, Dean Crow, about today's event.
Critical that we fund pediatric cancer research because kids' cancer is so different than adult cancer. So we need targeted therapies for our kids, which only will come through research being funded, and then that's the way we're going to advance the needle. We're super excited that there have been drugs that have recently been approved just for pediatric cancer, and we're seeing great results from that. So hopefully the funding can continue on a national level, and we would love it to be on a state level too, because we have great research happening here in Georgia at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Emory, and in Augusta, and we need that to continue.
You know, it's important because 46 kids are diagnosed with cancer every day, and then cancer is the #1 disease killer of children in the United States. So George has gotten on board. They've gotten their pediatric cancer task force, and they'll be able to focus in on the needs and research needs for our hospital system here, and we should be kicking it up pretty good on our battle against cancer, especially pediatric cancer, Tom.
You know, Eli, I know you've been at CHOA so many times. I was in the lobby of the cancer hospital there, and when Ryan Seacrest opened his radio station,
Center, yes.
Yeah, in the lobby over across the street from Emory University, and you know, it's just remarkable to see these children, these childhood victims of cancer, and the bravery that those kids display in the midst of such a battle.
You know, the courage they have, and you know, it's also, you know, it's just heartbreaking because, you know, these kids are brand new to the world and they're young, and this is, you know, going to get chemo, going through therapies and things like that. That's pretty much the life they know. They don't know anything different, and so, you know, your heart always, you know, goes out to them when they're, you know, having this battle and they don't know anything different. Then, you know, they don't know life as a healthy child until they, you know, beat this cancer, and it's tough. And it's one of the most special places I've been is the pediatric cancer unit over at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And it's good that the state is on board with their task force to help focus the needs and research.
Yeah, the kids are putting on a brave face, and so are the parents. But the parents are all too aware that their kids are in the middle of a desperate struggle against this horrible disease.
I think it's more frightening for the parents, yes.
Certainly. Eli Jordan, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, officially starting next month. Eli, thanks. Let's get you back to the breaking news. We've been talking about it all hour long here on our streaming channel, Fox Local. We brought it to you right out of the gates off the top of the show. Our Eric Perry is at the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station. Eric, we just watched the news conference with you and the officials there. We asked about the conditions of the two officers that you are following today. How ironic that you were going to join us here in this hour anyway about violence on MARTA, and then this happens.
Yeah, Tom, we were at the Lindbergh MARTA station when we learned about this shooting here at the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station off of MLK. I'm going to move out of the way. That scene has since cleared, but it took place in that MARTA loop. The chief of MARTA police, they tell me that two men got into some sort of an argument here, and one pulled out a gun and fired a shot. In fact, some officers with MARTA police were on scene, and we're going to direct you over here. There's still some that are huddled up on this side as well. They heard that gunshot and they raced in. Unfortunately, the gunman, the suspected gunman in all of this, took off. So they're working with Atlanta police, I'm told. They're also working with Georgia State Patrol, trying to figure out just who this person is. They're hoping to get us some surveillance images before the day is over. We're told that that victim was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the stomach. But as you had mentioned, you know, we were talking about MARTA incidents that have taken place. I talked earlier with a city councilman who says he has some questions regarding all of this. You know, last week, two MARTA police officers were injured after they confronted a man at the 5 Point station. He was seen urinating on that platform. They went to stop him and he pulled out a gun, injured both of them. I asked the chief about that. He says that they are recovering at home. That's the good news in all of this. But, you know, there was a stabbing on a train. There's been a shooting on a train in Buckhead last month. And then, of course, that escalator incident. So we were working on a story about those components, and then this happened. So we raced over here as well, Tom.
Eric, talk to us a little bit more about that city council member and what he talked to you about, because I think in a lot of ways, he echoes the concern of a lot of people who really want to take MARTA, whether it's to the airport or to a concert at Mercedes-Benz Stadium or you know, just to and from work, but they have doubts in their mind because of incidents like today and past violence that happens on MARTA. So you spoke to a councilman who says that he's had enough.
Yeah, Tom. So he says he wants to make sure that the people who take it every day, they're feeling safe. Some people, this is their only mode of transportation to work or school or just to get around the city. So he wants all of his constituents to be safe when they're riding MARTA. But also, you make a good point there. You have the concerts, you have footballs, you're going to the airport as well. And keep in mind, this is all leading up to the FIFA World Cup where thousands of people come in. He made a very good point where a lot of the people visiting from other countries, especially European countries, they rely on public transportation, the trains and the buses. So then when they come here for that event next year, they're going to be taking MARTA as well. So he wants to make sure that everything is safe, especially for those leading up to next year's event, but then those everyday people who are taking the public transportation here in our city.
Yeah, Eric, we have that sound, so I want to roll it now because it's important. Even as you mentioned, the violence, I mean, these couple of high-profile events where our city is going to be center stage. People are going to be watching from around the world. So let's listen to what he had to tell you.
Yeah.
We need a serious recommitment from MARTA to the ridership and the citizens of Atlanta in particular. In these cases, we need them to rededicate how they're patrolling on their system, you know, how they're training their officers. Is their video integration system up to date? Or is the lighting around the stations appropriate? You know, those types of issues. Are they maintaining, you know, regular maintenance on their facilities, like escalators, like elevators, and the restrooms?
All right, so that's Michael Julian Bond, Eric, who you spoke to earlier today in the setup to your story about the situation on MARTA. We know that, Eric, there's an interim sort of CEO of MARTA trying to run things, and I don't know how, if the mayor is the guy that designates who's going to run MARTA in the coming months and years, but where are we on that process, and how big a part of the conversation is it going to be for the next leader of our city rapid transit system to get crime and safety under control?
Yeah, Tom. So I think there's a board with MARTA. They put out a search looking for their next CEO. Just remember, July 18th, the CEO stepped down with personal issues regarding his immigration status here. So he stepped down. That was right after that Beyonce incident as well. And then within the past month, we saw different instances as well. I do think it's going to be very important to whoever is going to be safety first and really kind of shifting that narrative and making people feel safe as well. You know, they say crime is down. When I talked to the chief earlier, he says, you know, they really don't have a lot of shootings or a lot of incidents that happen here, but then people walking by, they say, what's going on? I say, oh, there was a shooting, and then the first thing they say, oh, again. So I think that public perception is going to also, people feeling safe is what's going to be really important when they're looking for that new CEO and general manager of MARTA, Tom.
And real quick, Eric, before we leave you, just to bring our streamers up to date on the situation down there at HE Homes, we got a search for a suspect and one person shot, correct?
Correct. One person shot in the abdomen, taken to the hospital. Not sure of the condition as of yet, but they're searching for another man. They're using Atlanta police. They're using Georgia State Patrol to search the area. He also told me they put up a drone in the area. I'm looking at 2 Atlanta police cars this way and on both sides. So they didn't find him in the immediate area, but hopefully before the day is over, we'll get a picture from surveillance cameras that we'll be able to share to help in that search as well.
Wow. All right. Eric Perry there at the MARTA station, HE Homes, where a shooting happened just moments before we joined you live here on the stream in the 3 p.m. hour. Eric, thanks. Eric actually covering for us today violence on MARTA. And then this situation happened at the MARTA station where one person was shot and has been transported to the hospital. Police looking for a gunman now. So some big challenges for officials at MARTA to get safety under control. And we're going to continue to stay on top of that situation as it unfolds. And if any improvements are, want to say thank you so much for joining us here on Fox Local. We are also streaming on our YouTube channel and on 107.9 HD2. We're going to see you